And I think we need to just kind of highlight Optic Gaming and adversity. They've gone in a little bit hand in hand throughout the success that has come with Optic Gaming. Everyone was saying, this team isn't good enough to get it done. They don't have the ice to win a championship. They go on and win a championship. Worlds comes around. Everyone's like, that was a fluke. Orlando was a fluke. We don't believe that you can do it again. They go and win a world championship. FaZe, they put the new roster together. Optic can't keep up with this new FaZe roster. They pull off the 3-peat. Now in front of us in Dallas, probably the biggest challenge of all time for this roster. Can they make it through this elimination bracket? Can they force their way back into a grand finals? And can they give themselves the chance at creating history?
That's right, that's a big question. Let's not forget on the other side of the stage, it's Native Red with nothing to lose. This team as a consistent top 4 squad now going up against the world champions. They will be flying, they'll be aggressive, and they'll be playing this game as fast as possible to catch a Saturday evening Optic Gaming off guard. Here we are into game number 1.
It's always good to have a bit of fun on a Saturday evening, and hopefully we can have that in this series as well. What a run this has been, by the way, from Native Red so far this tournament. Coming in with a substitute, Boamx, who has done immaculately everything you could ask for from a sub, and they've got themselves into the position they find themselves in, and top 4 has been synonymous. Like you say, top 4 is what Native Red have done. If they can do it again here with a sub, that's something special.
It really is. Let's see what SoulSnipe can do to start the series off. Almost does it to Lucid as well. Eventually he's taken down, but that was the camo and the shock initially in the hands of Native Red. Now, however, in the very capable hands of Formal.
Formal hits a nice little perfect himself. Boamx is going to be weak inside on that B stronghold, and the Pillars are going to keep him alive for just a few seconds. The oddball not being picked up quite yet, but there's a grapple, but there's a little bit of a miscalculation coming in from Formal. Second time around, going to be able to grab that one and run it back to long haul, and support coming in from Lucid. He'll grab that oddball, and we were talking about the series itself. Obviously, you can see we've got a little bit of recharge oddball to start our series off with here, Andy, but Optic Gaming certainly the favorites in this game, but Native Red in these first 3 games have to take one away if they want to send this series deep.
They really do. Our eyes are specifically going to be on those games 2 and 3, and we'll have a chance to look at those when we look at the series layout after this one, but certainly an interesting selection of game types between these 2 squads as we're going to see some time on the board here for Native Red for a moment.
Really strong start this from Native Red. They do have a slender lead, and they certainly have a slaying advantage as well. But Optic looking to break this setup, and will do so efficiently as well. Native Red find themselves all watching TriPPPeY jump up onto the goal ledge with the death screen's only point of view that they can choose to use. And from here, Optic Gaming, they grab that ball, they take it towards blue, and now it's up to Native Red to try and navigate this setup.
And specifically, look at the timing on the 4 dead, right? They got their kills all around Sneaky right at the exact same time, which led to now a nice hold here as they put 23 points on the board, really down to the fact that they were able to get that cluster of kills all together. However, they now find themselves 3 dead, and it's the second camo in a row for Native Red.
Really impressive timing on those kills. Yes, it's made a little bit easier because the oddball becomes the objective. You have to push across the map, but winning that team fight at the same time as the camo coming up, so vital to do. Big win coming in on the tower from Formal. He turns 2, so not only the camo taken out of commission here, but also an opening in the setup. Native Red are not going to chomp down on that lead.
And if you're on the side of Native Red, those are the plays you cannot allow to happen in those 1v1s against Formal, where he then stays alive and gets a second one as well. Those are the kind of moments that will really rip your team apart. Here we are 26-7 early on.
TriPPPeY still with a shock rifle. Game 5 TriPPPeY. Big game TriPPPeY. What a story that is in itself, right? I mean, a lot of the time we were saying TriPPPeY was almost a victim of game 5s where they were so close, but he was always on the losing side. Well, now he has missed the game 5, putting Optic in this position to even take on Native Red with that enormous performance in that final slay we just saw.
Truly, what a game. I think it was right around 21-9 were his final numbers or thereabouts to close that game out. And now looking similarly pretty good so far. However, 3 dead yet again for Optic Gaming. They have a heavy lead here, 42-9. However, game is far from over.
Now Taulek with the shock rifle in his hands. Needs to hit a couple of shots here just to give Native Red a little bit of breathing room. And able to kind of chomp down, like I mentioned, on that oddball time that's already been racked up here by Optic Gaming. 22 points on the board. Boamx is going to get that first kill. APG is the victim. Formal trying to sneak into the bottom elevator.
Wow.
Taulek with some great shots himself, and this is what you needed to see from Native Red. A little bit of life, and in the team fight with the oddball in your hands, that's when you're going to win that fight, so you can get that lead a little bit closer.
Oh! Boy, Taulek hits another one. That's back-to-back opening kills. That's why this game is now tied here, and actually Native Red will go into the lead.
Oh, but Formal turns that one on his head. Even though it looked every day of the week like he'd be the one to fall, with no shields, he hits 4 perfect shots and somehow comes out of it alive. And more importantly, creates the opening for TriPPPeY to move in and grab what seems to be his favorite power.
It certainly is. Oh, almost a dangerous scenario there for Manny. Manny makes sure to get off the map and play the ball. TriPPPeY will get the back whack. 2 dead for Native Red here. We'll see if they get the ball off spawn right away or maybe slay a bit more.
58 points the lead though for Native Red. So really good job with that hold to turn the tables in their favor. Optic got a little bit of work to do here. Lucid already in the death screen, which is why you see TriPPPeY have to play this a little bit slower. He won't get one. He does get one to trade things out. But again, that's the camo being taken down without really any impact on the map.
That's right. 3 dead here for Native Red. Boam gets the last one. Now in a 1v1 momentarily against TriPPPeY for just a second. He'll instead stay alive and now challenge here on the ramp, and he hits a nice 4-shot as well. What else can you ask for a last-minute substitute coming in here to get his team this far in the bracket? Also winning some pivotal 1v1s to set his team up for success off the spawn.
I mean, don't get it twisted. Boamx is an incredible player himself. We've seen him in numerous tournaments over the years, and at the moment, he's kind of leading the way for Native Red here. 11-7. His hit stat line is... We move into the latter parts of this round number 1. 1 minute and 43 seconds left on the clock here of this first round. It's a slender lead still for Native Red, with a couple of numbers falling in the favor of Optic Gaming. It might be an opportunity for them to get that a little bit tighter.
Also couldn't be closer in the kills department. Right now, Optic is outslaying 36-35, essentially all tied up in terms of slays as well, and this game is now within just about 9 points.
APG needs to keep his head on a swivel here. You can see that Optic is a little bit trapped at pipes here. And a couple of good grenades that come in from Native Red really could create an opening. Manny and Boamx are going to combine. Formal now has to drop that oddball, as does the rest of Optic. He's going to go for this flank. Taulek is going to be here for the 1v1. Formal needs to win this one. He's going to pick up one. He doesn't quite get the second. SoulSnipe answers back. Optic, 3 dead, and the oddball in the hands of Native Red.
Ooh, my question was, where's APG? APG's all the way at tower here. We'll keep an eye on camo as well, but with 1:22 left on the clock and the man advantage, this will mean more time on the board for Native Red. Let's watch this next push.
Yeah, really, really smart this from Native Red as well. Yes, they have the oddball, but they're trying to challenge on that C plat for the camo to make it as difficult as possible for Optic Gaming to get this break, to pick up this camo. However, TriPPPeY has done it again, but SoulSnipe answers back with a shock. Lucid will trade out the kill. The oddball is left on its own. Lucid comes in, Optic get the break, and it's all down to Lucid.
Wow, what a series of events there. Lucid gets this. Lucid can get away as well. Somehow he gets the batteries, just doing absolute Lucid things. Finally is taken down here. 1 dead for each side.
Optic need to hold on to this ball, though. 20 points or so the difference. Manny comes in again, just to poke a hole, to punch a hole in the Optic Gaming setup, and that hole, I mean, everyone from Native Red has taken the opportunity to fly through. 3 dead for Optic, make it 4 as Native Red keep the pressure on.
Wow, absolutely massive. Here's the spawners here at bottom A. They get the info right away. That's a great angle from Manny to know exactly where the spawners are coming from, and guess what? Optic Gaming is only now finally off the spawn. Here they come.
They have to force their way through tower, though. This is perfect for Native Red. It's a bottleneck that they can hold down. TriPPPeY gets one, but he's the only one to pick up a kill, and with that, Native Red will win the first round here in map number 1.
Wow, what a statement. And it looked like it was going to be all Optic Gaming all the way, as they led essentially for over 75% of that game in terms of duration. And in the end, Native Red with a fantastic piece of play to run away with that, and some late camo and power-up control as well. They will take the first round on the board.
Boamx gets a little pick off the opening as well. 2v2 on the map. The camo did just get burnt, I think, down bottom middle, so that's not going to be too much of a factor in this opening rush. Manny versus TriPPPeY in a 1v1 scenario. Not something we see too often on Halo Infinite, but Manny is going to have control of the gold side of the map, and TriPPPeY is going to have control of the tower.
Solid push there. You can see just off screen coming in through long haul. It's at least a 2-man push. Lucid and Formal pushing in long haul together. They're generally going to come out with the kill, and they do this time as well. No time on the board just yet, as both teams look to settle, but it's a nice move here from TriPPPeY.
TriPPPeY with a little flank on elevator. Oddball still down on the batteries. Nobody able to get a hold of it, but Optic Gaming, unfortunately, going to have to rely on TriPPPeY to stop this ball moving away. Manny's going to try and throw this one up, and Manny will do so, but TriPPPeY takes him down. Maybe that's a chance for Optic to get off the respawn here, rejoin the action, and they pick up 2 kills in the meantime.
Where's the rotate coming in? Looks like the pressure's really good from Optic, so no rotate comes in from Native Red. However, the kills come in yet again. Lucid was your last player alive for just a second. Ball is still here, Charlie, on grapple. Pretty hard to get. There's 3 dead, but they haven't gotten the ball just yet, and Optic Gaming has done really well to keep this messy. And TriPPPeY, though, he's baiting him out. TriPPPeY wins the 1v1 against Taulek, who had every advantage you would want in that fight, but TriPPPeY with a little shoulder shuffle, give him a little shimmy, and baited out that beatdown, and then took advantage himself. TriPPPeY
grabs the elbow now with the grapple and brings it back to friends.
It's worrying for me. That was a one player alive in Whirlpool. That was TriPPPeY getting the kill on the ball. They tossed the ball into pipes, and the only player was Formal coming in through Whirlpool. The ball did not rotate. They kind of went for this awkward, premature play ball onto the grapple. That ball needed to get to gold, it needed to get to glass, and they would have been home free with a lot of points on the board. However, they did not convert because Optic Gaming kept up the pipes pressure. They did very well to maintain the lead here.
Boamx taken down by TriPPPeY as well, and he really is coming to life in this game now. 18 and 15. As the camo also comes up bottom middle. Now, control of this has predominantly been in the weren't really able to make much use of it in that round number 1. SoulSnipe going to pick up a kill on APG as well. Taulek gets away with it this time for Native Red, and I love this. Even if you've got the camo, sometimes you've got to be the guy who does the dirty work. Throw it off to a teammate, get the ball safe, and then you can go and have some fun.
A lot of responsibility, as you say here. Taulek, a man down, knows the push is coming, needs to make sure he gets the right damage. Not just the opening damage, but that they convert on the kills as well.
APG's going to get an opening, though, and a little bit of a spooky moment here. 2-1, make it 2. Taulek plays the camo perfectly, and he's back for his oddball.
Wow, look at that. Just the perfect timing, the perfect patience, and the diligence, the trigger discipline from Taulek to know exactly when he needed to engage and gets essentially the double back whack. He gets some help as well.
Score's turned on its head again. Very similar story from what we saw in the first round. Optic out to a decent enough start. Taulek says, catch that one, Formal. And he's on a killing spree, but it's Native Red again who are coming to life. And it's all through the BR and the barrel rifle, the stickies, the repulsor, it doesn't matter. Taulek is making it work.
Oh, good damage coming in here. Taulek might be able to stay alive as long as he can. Tries to buy as much time out. But off of the respawn, that's going to be 3 dead here as Boamx was your last player alive in the long haul. We'll see what he can do as he comes all the way to gold. He gets the kill, and that's a perfect time. Let's get into a listening off of the next push with Native Red.
We're trying to rotate. Watch the ball. What a big guys. Top tower.
120, Mikey.
Elevator. What's up, guys?
In tower still?
Top tower with the ball. I hear that. He shot there, I think.
Ammo 15.
He threw it out. Nice, get out, George. Elevator, APG. Wait, George.
Good.
Nice, bottom A, APG. He's on the stick. He's got the grapple.
Ammo 5 seconds.
He's right side.
Ammo hunter?
Can we watch him take a red?
2 seconds.
I'm red. I just want.
Yeah, no, watch my red.
Three third right. Going pipes. Careful. Watch out, someone.
One dead. Ammo still up.
Yo, grapple, Mikey. He went back to turbo.
Two.
He's like grapple.
Camo. Third guy.
Where push?
Camo spawn. Let's go. I don't know if it was burned. Was it burned?
No, it's not.
There's one again.
Good shit.
Anyway, we can get ball. Yeah, I can try to grapple this.
Mikey, see by right now, put Matt.
Well, as we come back into the game, Formal has got no idea that SoulSnipe is behind him. It's another camo going into the hands of Native Red. And one thing you took from that listening is these boys are getting hyped when they pick up some kills.
Yeah, you better believe it here. It might be Saturday evening, however. Their energy has never been higher. SoulSnipe does not have the grapple, though, and actually has to go all the way to bottom middle. So far, it hasn't cost them just yet. They're going to be thanking their lucky stars for that one. But I love the plays from SoulSnipe, the aggression to force the camo not to be burned by Lucid. He grabs it right away. They leverage it here, and now they have themselves a 13-point lead.
Here comes Formal. He's going to try and get that play ball, but by doing so, give SoulSnipe the opportunity for a teammate to come in and help. And from that play from Formal, you can see the idea.
Yeah.
Wanting to force the ball off the map, but the 2 BRs of Native Red shut him down so quickly that they're now able to scrape up some extra seconds.
And guess what? When you all in, like you said, when you all in that play ball, you make sure you get no damage at all. He went 100%, all of his eggs in the play ball basket. Did not get it. Eventually, the ball will be played voluntarily by Native Red. They thought, Taulek able to stay alive. Spider-Man hands coming in handy. Going to try to maybe go for this melee as well. He will trade with Formal there. 1 dead aside. Native Red here leading 64-41 with 1:23 left in the game.
Attempted rotate here coming from Optic Gaming. Lucid cuts down Boam. As just for a second there, you can see from his POV, he's like, I'm behind enemy lines here. I might be able to pick up a double kill and completely open the map up for my team. But instead, Lucid very aware of the situation. Great positioning from him, but SoulSnipe, he's got a shock, and he might be looking to take some souls himself.
Checking his corners one by one, making sure nobody's behind him. TriPPPeY gets tagged just a tiny bit here. APG playing the ramp, and here now comes the pressure through the repulse.
Well, the play ball might come in here. Decisions to make. There's 1 kill. TriPPPeY gets taken down as well. Beautifully done by SoulSnipe, but the play ball does come in. In the meantime as well, a slender, small lead for Optic Gaming. Lucid last alive, but at least takes 1 to the grave.
Yeah, essentially 3 dead for both sides there. It's a kind of, oh man, can't even finish the sentence.
SoulSnipe!
It's a double kill for the killing spree as well.
What a play from SoulSnipe, really starting to step up a little bit here for Native Red. From the back of that play, Manny can move in, at least burn the camo, but more importantly, even with the big plays coming in from SoulSnipe, even with the camo being burnt, it's still Optic Gaming with a slender lead in this round number 2.
And now is when we start to look at the game clock. Take a look, only 46 seconds left here, 73 to 64. As you say, Optic with a slender lead, some good shots from Boam, but Lucid ends up winning that battle. That will maintain the man advantage as well, as they are now only 19 points away from closing it out.
45 seconds. Native Red need to wait just a few moments to make sure every player is alive on the map before they make their decision on where they want to push. They maybe went a little bit early, and that just is me and Druk for Formal. He picks up 2. Native Red lose 3. TriPPPeY with the odd ball in his hands. It's a 1v1 to win this round. It will be won by TriPPPeY, and Optic Gaming will cross 100 points and tie up game number 1.
Yeah, they're going to be very happy with that performance. We will go to a third sudden death round to determine the winner of game number 1. And you have to think, Optic's probably thinking this game should be over, right? That's how the first round should have ended. They let Native Red sneak away with that first round win, and as a result, we will now go to our third and final round of Oddball.
One thing I wonder that might come in as a factor here is TriPPPeY not only stops the camo being picked up by Manny, but somehow gets away with it as well. Is to go back to my point, the stamina. You know, Optic Gaming not used to playing this many games on a Saturday.
Right.
The longer that this goes, is tiredness going to start being a factor? Native Red used these elimination brackets runs. They're probably more practiced than anyone.
Mark, that's a great point. I talked to Taulek earlier. Guess what he said? It's 3 p.m. on a Saturday, and FaZe is done for the day. They've been at the hotel. They've had a great dinner. They're probably in bed already, getting ready for tomorrow, but not Optic. Optic has had to do this the hard way late on a Saturday evening. As you said, uncharacteristic for them, but now the first team on the board in round number 3 as well.
SoulSnipe trying to push through the pipes. TriPPPeY more than aware of his positioning, manages to take it down pretty comfortably. Taulek going to have a little poke and a prod as well, but up into the heavens is going to be TriPPPeY with that shock rifle. And for now, it's a pretty solid elevator hold coming in from Optic. Good points on the board, 16-0 they lead.
Gotta wonder where the help's coming in. Finally, SoulSnipe comes in, and it ends up being a well-timed push there. It got a little bit dicey. It's gonna be 2 dead here, though, for Native Red. They're just gonna try to play this ball if they can.
Oh, but Lucid's gonna be on the flank. Lucid picks up 2, throws it back to his teammates and say, hey, I've got an idea, let's stay here. It's pretty comfortable for a few more moments. We've been picking up points, and Native Red have been struggling to break this setup. Looking across the stats, though, the man on your screen, he's having a heck of a game at the moment. 31 kills for Formal.
Yeah, let's see if this ball gets played at the Mangler pit based on the numbers, or at least rotated into tower. Look at Formal takes the same route that Lucid just did as well. Eventually, he might be taken down, and finally they will eliminate him. But I love the play from Lucid earlier to wrap mid-bridge to make sure that ball can't be played. And like you said, off of that great control, finally it's 4 dead for Optic Gaming, but not before they get 34 points on the board.
Now, where's the spawn coming in for Optic? That's the important thing to work out here, and Taulek's going to get all the information you could have wanted, but look at that sidekick again. The pistol just shredding away and turns the weapons over now into the hands of Optic and Formal, who's already been doing work without the shock. Now he's got that to play with as well, but it's out of ammo.
Yeah, momentary 3 dead is out of ammo. The good news for Native Red there is they won't have to deal with that for a little while. They'll have at least a momentary break, but guess what? Now Formal's got a commando. You might think that that's going to be just as deadly here, and he's going to be able to almost convert on the kill. However, he will fall, giving a minor advantage to the side of Native Red. Those kills will be traded out. Now camo in the hands of TriPPPeY yet again.
TriPPPeY adds another to his tally. Native Red starting to look a little bit ragged in this round. Optic is starting to take control, and when you do have that lead, you dictate the pace of the game. We've talked about this before. Native Red are forced to make plays. They're forced to play through bottlenecks, and that's why they're finding themselves 3 dead at the moment. Boamx has only just come off spawn as well, and this is more guaranteed time for Optic Gaming.
Guaranteed time. Formal's also the gatekeeper here, and he's really not the easiest to pass. And look at this, he's going to hit the stick as well. Now there's only 2 players alive for Native Red. They're both coming through tower. That's a trade. Taulek is your last player alive. More time for TriPPPeY. It's already 54-0.
Formal's so good at that.
So
Every
good.
single time that he's in those close range situations, goes for that stick, more than often gets away with it as well. Sometimes gets away with his life when it looks like he should be taken down, and just keeps Optic in control of the map now. Beautiful rotation now coming in from Optic as well. Moving from blue, having picked up the kills across map. Now they can flush out those pipes, and they can move that ball with it as well.
Oh boy, and now 73-0 here already with 3 minutes left, and this looks like Optic Gaming is starting to hit fire and really form as well in our third round. 0 points on the board for Native Red.
Still some time to play with though. 2 minutes and 50 seconds, however, SoulSnipe maybe over-challenging a little bit there as last alive, as TriPPPeY accepts that challenge and says, hey, have a little think about trying that one next time, fella. Didn't go too well for you this time. 83 points are rising, and this is looking like an Optic win at the moment. Native Red are stuck in the elevator, trying to force tower, but Boam gets that first kill. Manny gets another, and from what looked like a horrible position, APG's now on an island.
APG tries to get the ball off of C-Plat. He's not able to get it off of C-Plat. In the end, though, the team will stop at 93. What a run there for Optic. Native Red needs to have one of the best round 3s of oddball that we've ever seen in the Halo Championship Series if they want to take this game.
Yeah, good way to start that, though, is by getting the camouflage, and they've got that in their hands. Manny now, his responsibility is to watch all of the tower pushes. Watch this mid-map as well, but Formal, again, gets that first pick. And by doing so, moving across the map, has now exposed Manny with that camo. Optic take ground, and Native Red forced to drop that ball.
Ooh, that's a nice job to isolate that kill, but he has way too many players in front of him. It's not going to be too easy. You're probably going to see a ball grab any moment here to sneak this thing away.
Yeah, they do go for it. Formal, he knows that he's got work to do. APG might be taken down, but there should be some Optic players there to trade out these kills. Ball is still down, though. Native Red have an opportunity, unless TriPPPeY can cut them down to the pass.
Let's see what TriPPPeY does here. He's actually going to get the C-stairs. You really didn't want to let TriPPPeY get to the sneaky here, because here comes the pressure.
Maybe the reset's going to come in on that odd ball as well, and Optic now find themselves trapped here at long haul. Boamx aggressively challenges, maybe ever so slightly too aggressive, which gives Optic the opening damage to get that pick. Optic was still down, still 3 points needed.
Optic obviously playing this slow. They don't even need to get to this ball necessarily, but Formal will go for the grab here.
He's going to grab it. Manny's going to have to challenge him. 99. No, it's still 99. 1 point to go as TriPPPeY makes sure that things don't get too dicey.
They still have numbers here. Once again, they're going to take their time. That ball's going to sit right in front of the stairs, and they'll grab it likely in just a moment. Here goes TriPPPeY.
TriPPPeY says, time to win the game. No! Boamx cuts him down as well. I tell you what, we've seen some pretty crazy things in Halo Infinite, but surely Formal's going to put an end to this?
This would be one of the craziest. No grapples left. Taulek will eventually fall. Really, it should just be a matter of time, but Native Red hanging on for dear life.
And Optic Gaming are 2 dead, but TriPPPeY finally ends the game, and it will be an Optic Gaming win in game number 1 of this series. If you're looking at the form book, something you would expect, but game number 2 is where Native Red have a real opportunity to even things up.
They certainly do. They have a real opportunity there. And to be honest, Native Red in that first round, they looked good. Excuse me, in the second round, they looked good. They were able to really put on some good points on the board. However, Optic Gaming in the end, they close it out with confidence. They actually only outslay Native Red 130 to 126. In the end. Now, some of that difference is because, as you saw at the end of the game, it got a little bit kind of chasey on the oddball. The real advantage there really was around 118 to 109 was the real final score before those chasey slays start to come in. However, it's still a 3-round game. I think Native Red looked impressive at different points in that game, but I think we now shift our attention while we look at these highlights. We shift our attention to the Slayer. Optic Gaming is only 4-3 in Slayers in Dallas, but most importantly, they have not played either Slayer that's in this series. Game 2 is going to be Slayer Empyrean, and game number 5, if we get there, will be Slayer Recharge. We haven't seen Optic play either of those in Dallas, so it's a little bit of an interesting question mark across those 2 game types.
Yeah, I mean, more questions to be answered here for Optic Gaming, but also the same questions are going to be posed to Native Red, right, who have won a good amount of Slayers throughout this tournament so far. Some big game 5 Slayers as well that we saw them win, especially yesterday, and I think today is going to be another opportunity for them to put pressure back onto Optic here. We know Slayer Empyrean. If you get out to a good start, and I'm talking about Optic or Native Red here, before you know it, it could be 17-2, 17-3 if you use those power weapons and power-ups effectively. So this is an opportunity for Native Red to put pressure back on, but at the same time, it could be Optic Gaming taking the series away with a hot start here.
It absolutely could, and then once we get there, of course, Strongholds is going to be pretty interesting as well, just to tee it up. Strongholds right now for Optic is 1-4 record, so that's going to be an interesting game 3 as well, but before we get there, we have that game 2 to look forward to as we take a look at some stats between TriPPPeY and Taulek.
Yeah, I will say, by the way, that Optic have had to play Quadrant on Strongholds, and Quadrant are, right, twice, ridiculous at it, straight up. So maybe that's something to keep a note of as we move throughout the season a little bit further, but as you can see on your screen there, a couple of players to certainly focus on. Taulek a little bit quiet in that round number 3. Round number 2 did start to take over, and the shock rifle really was the difference maker in that round 2, I felt. Native Red didn't really have an opportunity to use that weapon too much in round number 3. It was kept out of their hands, and they're going to have to keep the weapons out of Optic's hands if they want a chance in this next one.
Also worth noting, the last time we saw these 2 teams on land in a Game 2 Slayer was a 50-49 Optic win on Slayer Aquarius. Now keep in mind a little bit of a team difference there with Druk, of course, being present at Worlds. However, it's setting us up for a fantastic game number 2. Game 1 was a close, well-fought 3-round oddball. And now we head to Slayer on Empyrean for game number 2. Will Optic Gaming take a 2-0 lead, or will we see Native Red tie the series 1-1?
Well, who's feeling hot for that sniper rifle at the moment? Some headshots certainly in our future. We'll have to see what player's name is going to be next to it in that kill feed. But I always find the opening strategy on Empyrean so interesting, where the resources are dedicated to picking up what weapons. Because we know that there's so much to pick up on this map, right? You've got rockets, you've got overshield, you've got snipes, you've got drop wall, I mean, the list goes on, repulse, whatever you want to pick up. There's so many things to try and control. It's so fascinating to see what teams prioritize what. It looks like Formal's job is to go for those rockets.
Yeah, right away the first pick does come in as well, and no damage really taken. He's going to fly straight through.
Taulek's going to get the overshield, which means a little bit of an exchange of resources. But Formal's going to be sneaking around under the bridge. Picks up one. Is he going to get two? Yes, he is, as Manny falls. Taulek's going to be weak in the courtyard as well. Manages to just escape for a few seconds. And Formal just saw the trade and got the comms from TriPPPeY that he traded with the native red sniper. So he's going to turn his attention towards that, switches the rockets out and says, you know what? You don't get to play with this.
That's right. Already played right away without a doubt. Even if he wins this battle, he'll be very happy that that sniper's off the map and will not be a factor. Early lead here for Optic Gaming, 6-2, and they're going to be feeling good about how they started this one out.
6-2. Interested to see if Optic do have control of their own sniper rifle, and it's going to be Lucid who gives us our answer. So one sniper rifle on the map here on Empyrean, and Lucid is going to have so much fun knowing, and so much confidence knowing, that Native Red do not have a sniper rifle of their own to buy it back.
Yeah, here as things slow down for just a second, Lucid kind of captaining the team here with a sniper rifle in the back. It's a 2-kill game. Let's get to a listen in now with Optic Gaming.
See that. One more. Long.
Our long still, guys. Our long.
Right here. One shot.
One shot that long.
I need a time.
Nice shot. One shot.
Two dead. Nice shit.
I'll leave you, Brad. I go yellow. I go top yellow.
They're courtyard spawn, absolute free kill. Absolute for 800 bridge on me.
Add us here in a second. They're trading as well.
200 bridge, guys.
They're gonna play for bad, maybe.
One shot that bridge. I got one. All of it. One shot. Custom.
That shit's on me. They're top third somewhere.
I'm out of snipe, guys. I'm trying to look at you, man.
Nice, man. 3 dead. That was 3.
I'm gonna go over my ad, okay?
Yeah, I'm going there. Yeah, they're training ramp one shot. They're training ramp one shot.
They're being weak, Manny.
Nice, see that, guys.
Look at Joey. Yeah, top tower.
We have help. 3, last guy.
First, let's go Boamx.
Stay alive here, guys. Stay alive.
Long, guys.
These guys are shit. One shot first. Yo.
Yeah, I'm gonna go long. Go this.
As we jump out of the comms, it's very interesting to kind of note what's going on in the Optic headsets, right? We've had the opportunity to listen to some of the comms from both the teams in the green room backstage, and it's been fascinating to see what an influence Lunchbox is, Andy.
Yeah, it really has been amazing. We got to watch that entire last series that Optic played from backstage with and exclusively listening to Optic comms. And one thing that you'll hear during those listens is the way that Lunchbox tracks the players that they're actively aware of on the map, and amazing things, especially in a map like Empyrean Slayer, as we have a little bit of deja vu. Formal does it again to pick up another double kill with the Rockets as they hit 27-11, by the way, an absolute blowout so far. It's amazing to hear, especially on a map like Empyrean Slayer, when players can kind of sneak through, they can beat through long, they can go through runway, you can lose track of them. The way that Lunchbox and the entire Optic team track where those players might be, which players they're not aware of, is incredible to listen to, and that's the reason they're up here 27-13.
Well, Native Red have got control of some power-ups and power weapons. It's their only way back into the game, and at least they've managed to find a sniper rifle to play with. They've played the majority of this game without one themselves, and SoulSnipe now has an opportunity maybe to put some pressure back onto Optic Game with a few headshots here, put them on the respawn, and do to Optic what Native Red have just felt from the green wall themselves. At the moment, he's just holding down Sword. Maybe a little bit cold, hasn't had to play with this weapon. 3 shots not going to be able to connect. Manny's going to be trying to push up, but I mean, it's a horrible thing to watch if you're a Native Red fan, especially from the point of view of SoulSnipe.
Wow, it's like watching All Quiet on the Western Front there. Boom, just a bullet comes out of absolutely nowhere, takes out a teammate in the Sword, and that's going to just continue on the score line for the Optic Gaming side. 30-13 now. This is quite a statement, folks, and that first game was undoubtedly close and a well-contested battle. This one is a bit different here. Double the score of their opponent and counting.
Lucid's 10-1. Probably a little bit frustrated there's a 1 next to that because We know how he is. He wants to be perfect. He wants to play perfect Halo, and that means 0 deaths for him across a Slayer. But 10-1, you'll take that every single day of the week. Formal also having a fantastic game. He's 11-3 at the moment. And Native Red, they had 1 sniper. Well, now they've got none.
Oh, jeez.
And I tell you what, Formal and Lucid ain't missing.
My goodness, now Lucid on 10-1 still. Formal will go 13-3 off of that spree. And how about Lucid just jumping out towards the green, hits the body shot because Formal's pre-nading. As you said, incredible teamwork from them. Formal's not going to lose that one from the pit either. And now this scoreline, if we're completely honest, has gotten out of hand.
Yes, time to start thinking about the next game because Formal is taking Optic there with a 2-0 lead. It's 40-16. And this is what can happen on Empyrean, and Formal is probably thinking this is a good opportunity to pad the tournament KD.
It's a scoreline you almost hesitate when you say it because you wonder, could it actually be 43-17? Do not adjust your television sets. That is the score on your screen here. 5 kills to go for Optic Gaming, and this is a very, very quick one.
Yeah, shout out to everybody watching the Halo Championship Series on the television, by the way. Very, very 1990s of you, but TriPPPeY looking to close this game out. A couple of players in front of him. Good damage with this overshield. Should be 1 comfortable for him. Lucid picks up another. It's 1 to go here for Optic. And I tell you what, heat up the grill, everybody. It's time for some steak.
Oh my goodness here. And the crowd in Dallas likes what they see, but to be honest, there wasn't that long of a main course in the terms of the total game time that we just saw. 50-18 is your final score in that game. Your power weapon kill difference, unsurprisingly, 7-1 in that game. Lucid actually ended the game 1 kill away from a running riot.
Very serious question for you. What sauce do you have with your steak?
Sauce?
Yeah.
I'm not allowed. Come on, we're having a great time here. Let's not get to anything where you could judge me very easily or everyone listening here could judge. No, I'm not.
Come on, you know I don't judge you. It's just an interesting conversation.
Yeah, but everyone in this room would judge me if I start talking about the wrong.
Imagine it's just us. It's just me
not
and you.
just us. It's
everybody else just ignore us for a few.
Nah,
What sauce do you have with your steak?
Like a lot of different sauces with my steak. Can we focus on? I'm not.
You said ketchup, I would judge.
Yeah, as you should judge me. We'll take a look at some highlights from that game. And to be honest, in the beginning, it was close, but only because you started 0-0.
Yeah, it's a really good point that you make there. Apologies for distracting the attention away. But to be honest, there's not really too much to talk about in this game. It was just complete dominance from start to finish coming in from Optic Gaming. And I think a lot of it came down just to that opening break, right? Formal picks up the rockets, picks up 2, plays the sniper rifle of Native Red, and having lost all of the power-ups, all the power weapons, I mean, Optic just put them to use. And Native Red, there's not really much you can do when you've got some of the best in the world with all the weapons to play with.
Yeah, and you think Optic coming into that Slayer only 4-3, and having not played this game type yet, Native Red probably thought, hey, let's take a look at the numbers here. This one might go our way, and my goodness, could it have not gone their way at all there with that win. 50-18, once again, quite a scoreline. It's quite a statement. But as you alluded to, if you're on the side of Native Red, as soon as you see something like that coming in, they're already thinking about that game number 3. And let's not forget, Stronghold is an opportunity for them.
It certainly is. And this is a game type that certainly favors them a little bit more, right? They love to play a little bit quicker. They love to play rotational, where they're kind of moving as a squad around the map and don't have to be so setup orientated. I think Empyrean for Native Red is probably a map that they're not too fond of because it does lend itself to kind of baiting and switching a little bit more, playing some angles, which, of course, is what Optic do best. So for them, Stronghold Streets is a really good opportunity. And I mean, the Optic game type, which we have seen them kind of slip up on a few times.
And absolutely, let's not forget also that Native Red is 1-1 on this exact map and game type, 3-2 in the mode overall, as you see on your screen here. So we'll see what they might be able to do. Taulek with the most damage, unsurprisingly, and Lucid with that KD. But we have to note the one thing, top right of your screen, Optic Gaming 1-4 in Strongholds. This truly is Native Red's chance to break this series back open.
It certainly is indeed. And I tell you what, Optic Gaming probably taught a few lessons by Quadrant. I mentioned how some of those games went, and as I say, Quadrant are just, for some reason, ridiculous at Strongholds, whether it be Recharge or Live Fire. They really are exceptional. Of course, we're going to be playing on Streets here, but for Optic, they certainly would have experienced what it's like to play against a team who really does have their stuff together when it comes to this game time.
Yeah, that's what they'll have to look for. And as we said, the comms in that game, you got to hear them a little bit during that listen-in. They have really never sounded better. We got a chance to hear so much of each and every detail of the way that this team is communicating, the way they're slowing things down. It has been impressive, and even though things got close in game number 1, they managed to close that one out and ride that momentum into one hell of a game number 2. They're going to look to also close out here and make sure that they get a nice dinner tonight, get in bed early for a big championship Sunday. That's what's on their mind, but they got one more game if they want to do it.
And this is a game, of course, it goes without saying that Native Red need to win in order to keep this series going, right? Otherwise, it's going to be an Optic 3-0. They're going to be here on Championship Sunday, and they're going to be looking to keep that title in their hands and pick up yet another trophy, create some history, although it is, of course, a long road for them to do so. But for Native Red, we mentioned how one of the first few game types maybe not favoring them. But now that we get into game number 3, this is where things start to swing. Game 4, game 5, certainly a little bit more favorable to Native Red. And if they can take this one away, then trust me, if you're still watching on your television, wherever you might be watching, make sure that you're awake for a little bit longer, because it could be a series again that goes to a game 5.
It really could, and if we've learned anything in DreamHack Dallas, it's anything is possible, even when you're seeing the best team in the world. Let's not forget, Optic Gaming was on the receiving end of a 3-0 earlier in this tournament. They have, of course, since bounced back and also gotten revenge against that Quadrant squad. But Native Red is ready to play this evening, and you got to think this team has been at the top 4 spot for so long, right? They have been placing 4th after 4th after 4th. They broke through big ceilings last year. Now this is a new ceiling for them, and it's quite a test here. Late on a Saturday evening at DreamHack to try to take down the world champions, but they're ready to go the distance in only a few games. Keep in mind, we've seen them take games off of Optic Gaming in scrims. They have to remember, they're only 3 games away from doing that.
No, I just realised, I was like taking the mick out a little bit for you saying television.
Yeah.
I watch loads of events on my television. I just realised, I sit in the sofa.
You do. I've sat with you. We've watched.
When you watch, yeah, I know. We literally did it last week.
Yeah, we've watched.
When you say television, I imagine the old box thing.
That's because I use the word adjust your television dials.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel a little bit
more validated.
You should.
Thanks for looking out for me, man.
Oh,
Appreciate it.
always, anytime. And speaking of, players here getting audio adjusted and set for this next match. Boamx on your screen. The man has been performing here and done everything you could ask for, and it's been a pleasure to watch him and the entire Native Red squad make their run yet again. Let's not forget, this was a team that made a heroic run, just in case you didn't catch it, a heroic run at the World Championship, somehow stealing a top 3 spot out of nowhere. Since then, have not found the top 3 yet again. That's what they're searching for.
Interesting as well, right? We talk about substitutes. We talk about how they have come in this season and, to be honest, done incredibly well. You look at Quadrant last event, right? Maybe not the placing they would have wanted, but the first event of the year in Charlotte pushed Optic to a game 5, had some really close series. 2Foxy did a great job coming in at the last second, and then his stock has risen, of course. Over in Europe, everyone's looking at him and going, hey, this is a player that we want to have on our squad again.
Yeah.
Same could be said about Boamx after this event, right? We don't know what the situation is going to be with Druk. Is Druk going to be back on the lineup? And Boamx has stepped up and said, hey, I'm a player maybe that can fill this role. I'm a player that everyone is going to be looking at in the shop window now and saying, hey, he can add a lot of value to what we want to bring to a tournament.
Yeah, and a lot of times when we've looked at his numbers, right, they're not just impressive, but he's leading the team. There's been many, many times where we've seen really great numbers from him and team and game leading numbers coming out of Boamx. Can he do it when they need it most? This will be game number 3, and this is do or die for Native Red, their tournament lives on the line.
For Optic Gaming, though, it's a chance to step back onto the stage on a championship Sunday with a 3-0 win to close out this Saturday. Lucid going to be the POV we're watching, and it's going to be a little bit of strongholds here on Streets to close it out.
And Optic Gaming has looked back on form since we saw them fall to Quadrant. A surprise result, to say the very least. I think it surprised us here as competitive Halo fans, and it certainly surprised the Optic Gaming players themselves. However, they did the work, they've bounced back, and they have found their form yet again.
They certainly have, and TriPPPeY's going to find rockets to play with, and if it's not a camouflage, it seems to be some sort of power weapon that Joey's finding in and around the map every single time that he's got his eyes on the prize. And for now, he's picked up 1 kill. You can see the early control and scoring is going to go to Optic. The second one doesn't connect, but what it does do is give information, forces players back here from Native Red, and allows a rotate towards C here for Optic.
Very nice rotate. Look at this. TriPPPeY's going to do this with minimal damage once again. He's actually going to fly out here as him and Form will make the perfect push over to C.
Yeah, really, really smart prioritization there from Optic, knowing that they picked up a couple of kills, right? They saw Taulek and knew that respawns are going to be coming in, so why try and fight that? Back up, control B, which you've already managed to get in your hands, then work on C and fight back towards B with weapons and positioning on your side. And that's exactly what TriPPPeY's doing right now. He's going to have a lot of Native Red players to deal with, but the help and the support is here from his teammates.
Man, one thing I love about TriPPPeY's POV, whether it's the Rockets or the Bulldog or the C push, he's been screen watching the entire time. He's knowing exactly where he needs to go. He's getting every angle that he needs to, and he's pumping and dumping with the Bulldog as well. They now lead 33-5.
Unfortunately for him, his teammates who were trying to support him, they kept him alive, but they died in the process. But they haven't dealt with TriPPPeY yet! And you gotta take him down, because otherwise he's gonna hurt you.
What a beautiful run. I cannot wait to go and watch that back. The man just supporting everywhere he needs to and getting the support in return as well. Formal is here to clean up the scraps, and guess what? El Bandito is here in front C, almost picks up another one as well.
Looking pretty good in the hands of Formal as well. The Bandit doing a lot of damage. TriPPPeY picking up yet another kill. What a start it's been for him, by the way. 7-1 is how he started this game off, and he's going to get more rockets. TriPPPeY is Mr. Power Weapons in this series.
My God, if you missed it last series, he almost got 5 camos in a row on Slayer Aquarius. To be honest, that is unheard of, as they now lead 52-10. Nice little rocket into music. Should be an easy cleanup. He picks up that one as well. He's 8-1.
Native Red watching TriPPPeY do this as well. Allowing him to do this. It's been a little bit too simple of a start here. Native Red really struggling, and maybe this is where playing with a sub starts to affect your team a little bit. We know how difficult Strongholds is at the best of times with the best teams in the world, but if you're having to bring someone in, learn the strategy, and then be tested against a team like Optic, it certainly can hurt.
Look at that play from TriPPPeY as well. He fires a blind rocket on B stairs because the comms are so clear and that the player is exactly on B stairs without a doubt that he has the confidence to fire that blind rocket. It feels like we've watched his POV the entire game, and for good reason, as his 9-2 run is finally slowed down, but not before Optic has a 78-point lead.
Yeah, stop TriPPPeY and you stop the scoring. It seems to be the way to kind of summarize the start of this game. 88-18 before Native Red finally got control of B again. APG's making a play up on C here. Couple of players dead per side. Red Gun going to be taken down. Really important prioritization, but here comes Manny for the trades. Now Formal with a Bandit again. Can he connect with a headshot? Manny will do so with the battle rifle. And finally, now we're seeing a little bit of life from Native Red. They're starting to find their rhythm here.
Yeah, what can they find here? Can they dig deep? They're down not by too much here. They managed to stop the bleeding pretty easily now, just down by under 50, and they can maybe try to get back in this, but just as quickly as we say that, Manny, it's your last player alive, and he's getting hounded by the Bulldog of Formal.
Formal picks up one, should be able to pick up another as well. Taulek has no idea he's got that Bulldog in his hands, and it's looking like this could be a momentary triple cap going over to Optic Gaming. A-spawns given away by SoulSnipe as well. The cafe is going to be busy with respawners, and now with Optic pushing, Formal's on the flank here, and he's got a lot of targets in front of him.
A lot of info, a lot of targets.
Almost gets 2 as well. Manny will be taken down, but it's Lucid who comes out with the spoils. 4 dead here for Native Red.
Yeah, Formal might not have been the one to get them all, but look at the timing, look at the push. Formal comes up, all the support in the world from Optic Gaming, and it leads to the perfect rocket grab.
And Formal sitting around going, what do I do? No one's alive on the map. Where do I go? Well, the rockets are going to be good enough to pick up 1 for sure. 1 will fall, though. TriPPPeY will pick it up. Of course he will. And he put it to use. Taulek falls into the death screen once more. Boamx last alive, but the triple cap is stifling and suffocating Native Red right now.
Here comes Lucid 1v1 with Boamx here in bottom C. Trying to stay alive. Lucid wins the battle there, and that will easily get the reset as well. They will continue scoring. B will flip, but guess what? Optic Gaming now with a 130-point lead off the back of the 3 dead and the rocket grab as well.
Taulek has picked up a couple. I'm pretty sure Taulek might have just picked up an overkill, by the way, off the screen. I just saw his name pop up time after time after time, and you need your big players sometimes to do something special, and that might have just been it. But A and B turned over finally. Native Red scoring once again, but they haven't been able to really recover from that last kind of 60 seconds or so where that triple cap was just devastating for them.
First pick, though. They get the first pick here, and maybe signs of life. Once again, coming in from Native Red. Can they get the second one as well? This would be big. TriPPPeY, of course, there to force the trade, and then more come in as well. And once again, we start to get excited that maybe Native Red might have something cooking. Instead, they find themselves 3 dead. It was Taulek that got a triple kill earlier, as I mentioned, but it's answered back right away.
TriPPPeY now pushing for the triple cap once more. Formal's going to be there alongside him. Good damage onto Manny. APG will get that trade. You can see the Native Red are trying to flip C. And in the meantime, Boamx is trying to stay alive, but TriPPPeY picks up yet another victim. SoulSnipe finally takes him down with the Bulldog himself, but Optic continue to score. They're past that 200-point mark and a little bit closer to a Championship Sunday appearance once more. SoulSnipe trying to step in. Native Red need to go, and they need to go now. They need to find something to elongate this series.
What can they do here? They need to really step up the way they're playing this game. They not need to just be on the receiving end, but really dictating the pace of play. That's going to be 2 dead, and maybe an opportunity with a well-timed rocket grab.
Finally get the rockets. APG, though, with some good angles, and Lucid with a double kill. Again, just as it looks like Native Red might have something to smile about, something to cheer about, it's shut down by a big double kill coming in from Lucid. He's so good at getting those numbers even on the map.
Yeah, that green wall's strong. Taulek does very well to take down a full shielded APG because he got away from the splash damage of the rocket by dropping down off of the commando. So now 2 dead for Native Red. TriPPPeY's your only player down on Optic Gaming. Lucid wins another one for a double kill here, and they will continue to flip A now here on the side of Native Red. B flips at the same time, however.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that Lucid is so good at, by the way, is just converting one kill extremely quickly and then turning it into a double kill, immediately swapping his attention away. And with that, you can see the double kill coming in from Formal doing his best Lucid impression. It's going to be Native Red who find themselves 3 dead again, and TriPPPeY 16 and 8 in this game. The man is double positive again.
TriPPPeY not worried about the drop skills. He said, you can drop the shield if you want. I'm going to shoot through it a little bit and I'm going to kill you anyway. Takes down SoulSnipe, who was the last player alive. As you said, unbelievable numbers here from TriPPPeY. 10 points to go for Optic Gaming.
Well, Optic Gaming have been questioned today. They've had pressure on their shoulders. And knowing what they had to do, beating Quadrant, getting a little bit of a revenge on them, well, they got that job done as well. 247. That's the score at the moment. They need 250 to close this one out, but Native Red, they're going to make them work for it.
They're going to make them work for it indeed. It's been a hell of a series. However, Optic Gaming now only 3 points away. Just like earlier games, they're going to take their time. They're going to get their picks, already 2 dead, and they're going to look to secure the game here.
Look at TriPPPeY. He's got a 1v1 here against Boamx. Lucid is going to arrive just in time to clean this one up. Or Boamx maybe is going to make him work a little bit harder for it. Lucid might not be able to turn this one over. Boamx is going to slide in the last second. And will do so, but in the meantime, Optic Gaming, they took C. B, still being converted. That play from Boam has kept this game alive.
A little bit of a base trade there. Boam somehow, the Gardener, stays alive on the planners, does not get taken down. Now a big battle in music here.
Yeah, this is getting a little bit messy. It's getting a little bit scrappy, and somehow as last player alive here, Lucid just goes, do you know what? There's 3 rockets. I'm going to go and pick these up. And with the rockets in his hands, might be able to change the numbers heavily in the favor of Optic Gaming. It is a triple cap here for Native Red. They are showing life, but there's no more mistakes to be made.
I don't know if Lucid knows that someone's in caution here. He hasn't pre-fired. He knows that someone's on plants, maybe right above him. And no, SoulSnipe maybe goes a bit early there in the end, so kills will be traded out. Here starts the A flip.
Taulek still alive inside of PD. He'll pick up a kill as well, but 2 players have fallen now from Native Red. This is the opportunity to step forward for Optic Gaming, to try and push on to B, to flip it back in their favor. And with Native Red finding themselves 3 dead, make it 4 dead. Surely at this point, Optic Gaming will be able to close this out.
Taulek gonna flip A as well, though, at the same exact time. He should finish that at the same time, so Native Red will now have the ends on A and C.
Yeah, you can see they're just flying down Pink Street as well, trying to meet Optic Gaming in and around C, but the Shroud screen denies the line of sight for Native Red. They will have no chance of flying in with clean first shots onto Optic Gaming. Lucid's job here, play B, stall on B, let my teammates convert the stronghold they're fighting for, but look at the kill feed. Native Red somehow are doing this.
What's happened in the back of Tram? SoulSnipe gets across, even with the Shroud screen. Somehow SoulSnipe and company, they get into the back of Tram and they stop, and somehow now they're within 50 points.
Finally, SoulSnipe gets taken down, and even though they're having to be made to work extremely hard for this, Optic Gaming get control of C. Boamx steps inside of B as well. 248 is the point. TriPPPeY surely gets this kill, and Optic will finally end the series. Another question answered. Optic Gaming, as resilient as ever, will win the series here, and we'll see them to defend their title, defend their throne on Championship Sunday.
And even though they had to work for it in the end, the final series score will always show 3-0. We had some dicey moments. We had some things down to the wire there at the end of the game in terms of just closing out. And a big, big rally there from Native Red. However, the damage was already done with 247 on the board. Optic Gaming was always going to close that game out. It was just a matter of time. They will exchange handshakes across their side of the stage, and as you said, earn their place in Championship Sunday.
Optic Gaming say to the rest of the competition, we're not quite done yet.